Hello, good people. Spot of Nerd here with day number 13. I will say it every day, or some iteration of it. I still cannot believe we have gone 13 straight days doing a live show, podcast, whatever they call this stuff now, blah, blah, blah. It's Tuesday night, and again, you're gonna have to forgive me. I'm looking kind of like at the camera to see, like, all right, apparently I am a beacon of God right now with these lights, so I got to figure out some of this lighting stuff, but that's beside the point. In today's discussion, I will always, it's a broken record. It's Spot of Nerd is what we do here. I will have to be careful, but at the same time, I think it's really important to discuss. Obviously, this is a fictitious television series that I believe is one of the greatest that has ever existed. But I think it's really important to discuss some of the controversy that has bestowed this most recent episode 9 in season 2 of Landman, in which Billy Bob Thornton's daughter, Ainsley, comes across an individual, shall we say, that, again, let's just say has a lot of discussion around today in society, politics, ideologies, insert XYZ here, whatever your choosing is, because again, to each his or her own. And that, my friends, is how we're going to kick this off. Sort of. So, yeah, if you are not familiar with Landman, shame on you, because it is quite possibly, and I hand to God, quite possibly one of the greatest television series of our time. Like, there are shows, I think back to the 90s where I grew up, where you had like Fresh Prince, Home Improvement, Family Matters, you had cartoons, Ghostbusters, you had Transformers. Like, these are iconic television series that will live on forever. And of course, this one, Landman, is no different, albeit it is definitely more on the drama side. And I don't mean that in like drama high school, but like just the series is a drama series. It's just incredible. The writing is fantastic. The acting, the actors are just beyond epic. Billy Bob Thornton, the gal who plays Ainley Michelle Randolph, I believe her name is. Look this cast up. It is astonishing. And the best part about the entire series, and I've mentioned this probably a couple times throughout my last few episodes that we did last year, or probably even during these live sessions, but ultimately what it comes down to is Taylor Sheridan writes the show, and just doesn't give a fuck. And I think that's the best part about it, because they touch on a lot of controversial topics that a lot of people don't want to talk about, because of course they're afraid to tiptoe around these certain subjects. Where this show essentially goes well beyond it, and in a way, depending on what you're watching, which episode, the story arc, metaphorically speaking, allegedly basically bitch slaps it across the face to say, I don't care what you think, this is the reality. And quite frankly, if you have a problem with it, is it your problem, or is it really? Yeah, again, got to be careful. I enjoy having a paycheck. It'll make sense in a moment, because I'm going to play you some clips, which it was hard to find these clips. 2 cents. I know you probably don't give a shit about that, but it was hard to find these clips because otherwise it won't make sense. First things first, like I said, if you're not familiar with Landman, what hooked me right out of the gates, it's on Paramount Plus. I never really thought about it, to be honest with you, when it first came out, the first series. Obviously, season 2 right now, but I was like, Billy Bob Thornton, sure, I like him, Santa, blah, 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 whatever. Not really, you watch the trailer, you're like, meh, okay, whatever, maybe if I ever get to it one day. And there was one scene that I saw, I think I saw it on YouTube or something like that, and it absolutely hooked me, 100% hooked me. And I think you're gonna know why. So let me go ahead and share this screen and we'll play this clip. Hopefully I won't get a copyright, but let's be honest, YouTube probably will do it anyway. So I hope the audio's okay. If it's not, again, just go look it up and we'll just play this. This is what will hook you if you know me, if you know the channel, my viewpoints, you'll know why this hooks you. So let's play this.
Clean energy to power the oil wells?
They use alternative energy. There's nothing clean about this.
Please, Mr. Oilman, tell me how the wind is bad for the environment.
Do you have any idea how much diesel they have to burn to mix that much concrete or make that steel and haul this shit out here and put it together with a 450-foot crane? You want to guess how much oil it takes to lubricate that fucking thing or winterize it? And its 20-year lifespan, it won't offset the carbon footprint of making it. And don't get me started on solar panels and the lithium in your Tesla battery. The fact that if the whole world decided to go electric tomorrow, we don't have the transmission lines to get the electricity to the cities. It'd take 30 years if we started tomorrow. And unfortunately for your grandkids, we have a 120-year petroleum-based infrastructure. Our whole lives depend on it.
They use clean energy.
So, as you can imagine, pretty confident you know why I was hooked right out of the gate after watching. That's kind of the shorter version. It is a little bit longer scene, but I think what it ultimately comes down to, and again, if you know me, you know this channel, you know my viewpoints. Look the information up. I'm not gonna go down the climate change road. I'm not gonna go down the pollution, whatever you want to call it. I'm just not gonna go down that road today, tonight, whatever you want to call it. We will one day, trust me. But I think the reality of it is what they're talking about actually is reality. So again, the clip is a lot longer where he kind of goes into the whole wind turbines basically being pointless. And albeit, I'm sure there is benefits to it. The reality is wind turbines actually do more destruction to this planet than good. Just look the information up. I know there are some people that are going to go lose their goddamn minds over that. I'm not saying I'm opposed to clean energy. I'm simply saying we are not there yet to make it beneficial to society, let alone throwing money at it ain't going to do anything. Last I checked, if I threw a $20 bill like a hooker straight into the clouds, I don't get anything in return. It's really that simple. So just throwing it out there. But again, you can imagine with Landman, that is the type of discussions that will be had, and they don't give a fuck, and I love it. I love how they write this show because they're talking to the average Joe. They're talking to the average American and saying, "We get you. We understand you. We understand that the world of media, whether it's television, whether it's movies, your actors, actresses, we understand that the woke ideologies of today or insert XYZ agendas, political, blah, 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 has been thrown and thrust into every aspect of your life from social media to movies and television. Here's a little break. Here's a piece of just great writing that we used to be able to do back so much as early as the 90s where day-to-day life, sure, you go work, you do your 40-hour job, you go home, you get your pay, blah, 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 blah. You chill at home, you watch your favorite movie, you watch your favorite show, where instead today we're obviously consistently thrown wokeness, politics, agendas right into our television. It's just insanity how much there is. And again, just look at this channel, watch the channel previous episodes just to get a little bit more take on my side of it. But again, I say again a lot. It's broken record. It's late. I've had a long day, and I say but a lot too. I like butts. It cannot lie. Anyway, getting back to the point of things, most recently, switching gears, although we're on the same gear because it's Landman, season 2 of Landman, episode 9, featured a scene where the daughter, who's played by Michelle, I think Michelle Randolph, I think who's dating Glenn Powell, the guy, fucking Maverick. Just look her up. Fantastic actress. Obviously, Glenn Powell. Is that his name? Maverick, the guy who played the kind of cocky, smartass dude. Again, good dude. His career might be over ever since The Running Man. I genuinely believe his career might be over because of that film. But God, I hope he doesn't. I hope he's able to kind of regain some sort of validity, popularity. Because damn, that movie was terrible. Getting back to the point, what I'm referring to is in this episode, Ainsley, the daughter, Michelle Randolph, goes to this cheerleading school. They obviously play her off as this dumb blonde and she's kind of ditzy and very Southern-esque, has the accent. Mom is just as fiery and, but enjoys life to the fullest. Loves her family, loves her father, has a great personality, is just an overall fantastic human being. Meets what some of us have experienced, and again, this is where I have to be very, very careful, has to share a room in this college dormitory for about a week because of this cheerleading camp with a certain individual that has some differing viewpoints. So let's play that clip and we'll kind of we'll digest that one, shall we? So hang tight for just a moment. Let me get rid of this. And yeah, let's play this video.
My pronoun? I hope that's pretty clear.
Yeah, I don't make assumptions. You could identify as a sunflower.
I've been told I look like one.
I use they, them.
I've always been curious. Why they, them? Because there's just one of you, and those are plural pronouns. Just never really understood the hoopla of pronouns. My name's Ainsley, and I just can't really come up with a reason why you would address me in third person in a conversation that I'm a part of. So if you do, I'm probably not there. So I wouldn't really know what pronouns you're using anyways. So why would it matter?
You smell like the beach.
Everyone says that. I think it's because I use coconut oil as a moisturizer.
So what are your pronouns?
So
My pronoun?
you can imagine this conversation goes on for, I'd probably easily say 5 to 10 minutes, and it dives a little bit deeper into such topics around what they were mentioning. And you're gonna have to bear with me because, like I said, I got to be very careful with what I say, what I portray here. I've always said this from day one. When it comes to the LGBTQ community, when it comes to the trans community, as long as you're leaving the kids out of it, I don't give a shit what you do. To each his or her own, blah, 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 blah. It's your life. If you're over 18, you're doing it respectfully, legally, without bothering anybody. You do you, I'll do me. It's really that simple. It's not that hard. And leave the fucking kids alone. That's all. I tell you what, leave the fucking kids alone, because when you get kids involved, I get passionate and I get furious when that shit happens. But that is something I will never be afraid to say out loud. Leave the fucking kids alone. So this entire scene is essentially, I would say, allegedly portraying the reality of the other individual's kind of a lifestyle, shall we say. But what it comes down to it is that at the end of the scene, the reality comes back into it of Ainsley, the daughter. There's a little bit of cheesiness because the mom comes in to basically set things right. So pulls her out of the situation, puts her in an apartment. But ultimately, where I'm going with all of this and where I'm trying to dodge bullets like the fucking Matrix right now, it ends up that this individual is just very demanding, very kind of like, I require this, I require that, I need this, I need that. This is my opinion on XYZ on this. This is my opinion on that, blah, 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 blah. Again, dodging bullets here because I got to be super careful. And I want to be clear, there's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't. We live in a free country. This is America. You do you and I'll do me. Again, like I've said a million times, broken record. But what it comes down to as well is Ainsley definitely kind of reaches that breaking point of, what about me? What about what I want? What about what I view? What about what I feel? What about, like she says in the thing, what about proper English? What about science? What about insert XYZ here, diversity of thought? What about inclusion, diversity of thought? And I've said this before, and I sure we'll talk about this way many more times into the future, but what about that? Because again, today's society, today's morals, today's everything revolves everything around the physical. It revolves around the religion, the physical, what whether you're left, right, up, down, middle, side, blah, 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 blah. It never revolves around what you think, what you believe, other than, again, I know that's kind of contradictory about the religion. What I mean in that regard is, of course, what about you? Why can't you also have an opinion about XYZ that might be contradictory or might be different than said other person? You're going to notice I am completely dodging a lot of specifics here. Pretty sure you can catch on as to why. What, again, I'm ultimately trying to get my point across in this is that what Landman was able to do in this scene is absolutely beautiful and perfection, to the point that if you go onto Reddit, which, let's be very clear, not afraid to say this out loud, Reddit is a left-wing liberal wasteland. You so much as have a right-wing, quote-unquote, conservative viewpoint, you will be absolutely destroyed, threatened upon, life threatened, yada, 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 or you'll simply just be booted from any sort of forum you try to enter if you have a different viewpoint or if you support Trump, blah, 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 blah. So I bring it up because there is a Landman thread, I guess is what you call it I don't know what the fucking technical term is on Reddit, but there's a Landman thread that I had to bow out of. I really did, because clearly there was some controversy around this scene, around this episode, that people really got fired up about. And they really thought, oh, they exaggerated this character. They went way too far. There's no way that they would be this type of individual. And I kind of had to, I don't really chime in really on Reddit, but I mean, it's like popcorn. You're definitely just watching the drama as it unfolds, no pun intended. And it really kind of, the same message kept popping up. And I don't mean that in a literal sense. I just mean the same kind of genuine messaging pops up. Bigot, racist, homophobe. I hope you die. I hope you get kirked. I hope you suffer. Blah, 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 blah. And that's the point of this, is that 2026, and I said this steering a little bit off target here, is going to be the year that we are done pretending, and we're done pretending that we're going to tiptoe around this anymore. Go ahead. Want to call me a racist? Go for it. Want to call me a bigot? Go for it. Take a number. Your number like 10,457 by this point, this week, just as a heads up. We are so fucking over it. It's just laughable. And the fact that people are losing their shit over a fictional television show just speaks volumes to the fact that, if you ask me personally, and again, I'm not even mentioning specifics here other than just the alleged overall aspect, I'd encourage you to look in the mirror, because, again, why is it specifically today? It doesn't matter what group you're talking about, what societal aspect, political agenda, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. Why is it everybody's business has to be yours? Because here's me. I know I'm just a very single channel with very small amount of viewers and followers, which, although I appreciate very much those that do, I'd love you if you haven't already. Follow, subscribe, comment, blah, blah, blah. It's time that we start speaking more to these discussions, these topics, these debates, because frankly, we do get a voice as well. We do get an opinion as well. And if our opinion says the English language was this, biology is that, that's my viewpoint. That's my opinion. It also, in most cases, allegedly, depending on the topic you're discussing, is facts. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow for some of you. But the reality, and I keep broken record, I say the same words a lot, the same things a lot, and I'm not apologizing for it because, again, I'm being very careful with my words here. At the end of the day, at the end of XYZ, I still get to live the life that I want, the best way that I want, and the best possible environment that I want. I'm not going to push anything on you that you're not going to either accept, respect, feel comfortable with, XYZ. I'm simply wanting you to live the best life that you possibly can. And I would hope in return, you hope that I can live the best possible life that I can. If that means that you're uncomfortable with the fact that I own firearms, as an example, then you need to go over there, away from me, because I'm not going to ever give those up. The same thing with, I was looking for it totally random here, but I'm a 40-year-old dude who still plays with Legos. Which, by the way, Back to the Future car looks fucking awesome, by the way. I don't give a shit. You want to make fun of me? You're a 40-year-old guy who still plays with Legos? Yeah, I fucking do. And anything waiting. We have got to stop catering to these ideals or these ideologies or these societal quote unquote norms. And what Landman has done is it's setting the bar to correct itself. Ultimately, that's what it's trying and is succeeding at doing. It is correcting entertainment. It's one of those, you look at these articles. I think I showed you guys Screen Rant the other day, and I showed you some other stuff throughout these live broadcasts. The tide is turning. We no longer want to see absolute bullshit on our television, through our series, through our movies. We want to see good story writing. And side note, the way AI is taking over, it looks like we're going to get it, because either the actors and actresses give us what the audience wants, or we're just going to go find it elsewhere, likely through AI. And I can't believe I'm still advocating for it, but yeah, that's where AI kind of is going to take over and win. Because sure, you can go make your own movie and your own business and give us your own spiel and blah, 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 blah. But we're going to just go over and do our own thing over here, and we'll be perfectly fine and happy. Just look at, social media alone. Rumble, when it comes to live streams, is dead thanks to this Rumble. It's really not hard to see that Rumble, although it is still in its early phases, is going to be the dominant media outlet thing, whatever you want to call it. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, mark my words, Rumble will be it. It is where freedom exists. And at the end of the day, and I'll wrap this up because I know sometimes I can ramble, it is all about freedom. Look at Iran right now. These people are dying by the thousands because they just want freedom. You have it here in America, and you are literally protesting against it. Please make that make sense. And that's one thing I will give so much credit to Landman and the series, is because they touch on these subjects. Freedom is what it is all about. And quite frankly, the world, America specifically, the right, the conservatives, insert XYZ here, we are done with tiptoeing. We are done with trying to pretend like it's normal. We're done trying to pretend like you should have a card that says you got a certain pokey poke just to go see a fucking movie. Blah, 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 blah. I'm sure you can imagine the road we can go down with that. So I will simply just leave you with that. I really go and watch Landman. It will make a hell of a lot more sense, trust me, if you just go watch it, to what we're referring to right now, because you gotta be careful. I enjoy my paychecks. I enjoy my health insurance. I'm hoping you can understand that, at least, regardless of how far you made it in this video. But jokes aside, I super appreciate everybody for watching, for listening. I mean it. Landman is incredible. Paramount Plus, they're doing a great job with television series right now. Mayor of Kingstown, I've mentioned it before, just as an amazing show as Landman. And I really do believe. I think when it comes to our television and our movies right now, I really do believe the tide is turning, and you can see it. I know sometimes it's hard to see, but trust me, it's there. It's definitely not there with Stranger Things, but that's just go watch my review on that and you'll totally understand. So, anyway, with all of that said, guys, thank you so much once again for watching. And tomorrow I don't have to work, so it might be a video game day. I don't know. Maybe you know what we need to do? We need to fire up the Xbox. We really, really need to fire up the Xbox because it'd be actually pretty cool to fire up some of those games again. But anyway, y'all, we'll catch you guys tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Yeah. We'll see you guys then. 14th.